Welcome to my World History Notes, where I read from the book I wrote to teach homeschoolers world history. A Bible believer looks at world history. You can find it on lulu.com, amazon.com, at the Bible Baptist bookstore, or just follow me here and subscribe to my channel if you would, if you're interested. So I hope that you'll dig more deeply into the things that I talk about, because this is really superficial, a survey, just to give you an idea of things you may never been taught, or just have forgotten from school. And I certainly have learned a lot myself by doing the study, and I want to learn more, so I'll be doing more digging after this is over. So let's begin. As Army Air Force units from America joined the British, an unusual and ironic event happened when, according to Gerald Astor in his book The Mighty Eighth about the 8th Air Force, the 4th Fighter Group accidentally went into battle against Germany wearing the Jewish Star of David for wing decorations. They decided that they wanted stars painted on their wings instead of the RAF's rondelles. A Jewish pilot painted the Star of David and they went into combat. The British and American air war against Germany pitted 1.5 million Allied troops and 69,000 aircraft against 2.2 million German troops and 61,000 Nazi aircraft. 2 million Germans at home worked at clearing up the damage. In 1943, the strategic bombing offensive got underway. The Allies dropped 1.5 million tons of bombs from airplanes like the B-17 Flying Fortress and the B-24 Liberator, among others, which dropped another 1.1 million tons. The British had a peak of 718,628 pilots and ground crew who dropped 1.2 million tons of bombs, mostly at night. The Americans had a peak of 619,020 troops, supporting the dropping of 1.5 million tons of bombs, mostly in the day. Losses were heavy, with 159,000 airmen casualties. Aircraft losses were enormous, with bombers flying 1.5 million sorties. A sortie is one mission by a single airplane, and fighters flying 2.7 million. Half of the bomb tonnage landed on Germany and almost a quarter on France. The rest was dropped on various other targets. The air campaign was not conclusive. No matter what air proponents claimed, the only way to win a war is with boots on the ground. Now, nuclear war is a different matter, as no one may be left alive to fight, but conventional war is what we're dealing with here. The most positive effect of the air campaign was the destruction of the Luftwaffe. The Trident Conference took place in May of 1943, and the decision to concentrate on Germany's destruction was affirmed, and that they would focus on the strategic bombing and to plan a cross-channel invasion for May of 1944. The Quadrant Conference, also known as the First Quebec Conference, was held in August, purposing to increase resources to the war on Japan. The invasion of Italy was a focus because of the collapse of Mussolini. They also wanted to get the Soviet Union more on the Allies' side. Finally, the purpose was to recognize the value of de Gaulle's forces as representative of all Free French forces. The Moscow Conference, held in October of 1943, the USSR, the UK, and the US attempted to lay the groundwork for the upcoming Tehran Conference. They agreed that China should be a fourth major player, and they agreed upon a post-war international organization which became known as the United Nations. However, the memorandum showed that they already clearly called their joint efforts by the term United Nations. Here it is in January 1st, 1942, a joint declaration by United Nations. And then it was, that's a White House news release talking about the common goals of several countries, United States, United Kingdom, Northern Ireland, USSR, China, Australia, Belgium, Canada, Costa Rica, Cuba, Czechoslovakia, Dominican Republic, El Salvador, Greece, Guatemala, Haiti, Honduras, India, Luxembourg, Netherlands, New Zealand, Nicaragua, Norway, Panama, Poland, South Africa, and Yugoslavia. Excuse me. So they talked about a common purpose in the Atlantic Charter. So much for the UN not starting until 1945. In November of 1943, there were held the Sextant Eureka or Cairo Tehran conferences. Two conferences had to be held because the Soviet Union would not break its agreement with Japan not to go to war against it. Japan would not attack Russia to help Germany, and Russia would not attack Japan to help the Allies. The Soviet Union, the former collaborator with Nazi Germany in the dismembering of Poland, and one of the causes of the start of history's bloodiest conflict, demanded that the Allies invade Fortress Europe to take pressure off of it, but it was not willing to go to war against Japan to take pressure off of the Allies. At Cairo, FDR and Churchill met with Chiang Kai-shek of China, who we recall was cooperating with the communist Mao and his forces against Japan. Then they met with Stalin in Tehran, Iran, and he was told that a cross-channel invasion was planned for May or June of 1944, and he agreed to a massive offensive at that time. So we'll start continuing about the Battle of the Atlantic and the air bombing campaign next. We have more. I have more information I want to discuss about that, and we'll move on. So, in any event, I hope you will take this information, dig deeper, come to your own conclusions, and learn about world history. This fascinating time of World War II. Thank you.